Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I see some vibrant, amazing faces today. You guys, I have the hiccups, but I think they just went away, so we should be good. My girls are like, drink some ketones. I'm like, I know they're still here, but hopefully not for long. All right. Welcome to the Wednesday Huddle. We've got some great stuff planned for you. I'm looking to see if my amazing co-host is on. I don't think she's on yet. So I will introduce myself. And as we're chatting really quick this morning, send off some messages, tell your team they can hop on. We would love to see their amazing faces on here. All right, my name is Stephanie Milky. I have an incredible husband named Steve. We have been sharing ketones and drinking ketones for almost a little over 8 years. And we have 4 daughters. They are 16, 14, 12, and 10. I'm going to show you guys something on a picture if you can see it. Do you guys ever look at your memories and go back to years and years of like, oh my goodness, look at where we've come. I'm a Facebook sharer, so I love Facebook memories. And look at this picture from, I think it was 6 years ago with the girls. It might even have been 7 at Prove It. It's a Prove It picture. And I'm just incredibly in awe of all of the things that our family has been blessed to do with Prove It. So if you do not know our story, and I'm not going to go super deep into it, but I do want you to know this. When we first started Prove It, and I'm talking to you as I'm looking for this picture, which I just had. Oh, here it is. Excuse me. 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, these were our girls. Look at how little they are. Can you see that? They're little, right? So Annie is now 10. She was 3. She was just turned 2 when we started drinking ketones. And this is them last night. And I was like, man, I mean, time has flown, and what Prove It has allowed our family to do, I'm so thankful. And I do want you to see them because they've grown up so much. So here's what I want you to understand is this company and this business, you can do some incredibly great things. Here's our girls from last night. We got to take them to an Elevation worship concert. 7 years. I mean, they've grown up in Prove It world, right? We went from living paycheck to paycheck to, I like to say it like this, being able to live and give like we've never thought before. And for us, Steve and I have really been diving into what does success looks like for us? What does success mean to other people? And you can look at yourself and rate your life and success on money, right? We've been listening to a book called, a couple different things. The different podcasts from Ed Mylett, the most recent ones are incredible. And there's a book I'm going to be going through with my audience called Mind Shift by Erwin McManus. And it's a brand new release. I would highly recommend going through it. It's called Mind Shift. And he was talking about how he's surrounded by all of these successful people. And he said, one of the things you should never, ever let go of is the number one things that matters. Ed talks about this. Other people that we follow talk about this is relationships. He says the number one thing that sometimes people get put on the back burner is, they're building this business and they're really working towards having whatever success they want. And yet the number one thing that's most important is the relationships in their life. And sometimes they forget about that and they go, hey, I'll work on that later. And that can't be the case. You've got to be able to protect your relationships, your parenting, your relationships with your kids, and your marriage if you're married. And it needs to be a priority. And so I was listening to podcasts and I've just been chatting with some people, I was sitting last night at this worship concert, 12,000 people in this arena. And I was like, thank you, Prove It, for allowing us to be able to be present with our kids, take our kids on the journey with us, really being so focused on, years ago before we even knew Prove It was an opportunity, we loved our life. I was always thankful to be able to stay home with our kids. And it sometimes was stressful. Not that you're not going to have stresses in your life, but if you really put in the work and you do the simple steps and you really focus on like, all right, this isn't going to be an overnight business, even a 6-month business. But if you look at our life today, 8 years later, I would not trade anything, even the hardships, the people that have come and gone, the things that we've had to work through, because we've been able to have time with our kids. My husband was saying, man, the amount of we've gotten to physically be in the presence of our kids and pour into them. We've got 2 years left before our oldest daughter potentially could leave. And then every 2 years after that. Our girls will be gone if they choose to leave, right? Like launching them into the world. And what I love about Prove It is that you have the opportunity to do something either on the side, from home, something extra to allow. My hope is success to you. One of the words I would say is time freedom. I don't think we can actually say that online. I can't remember the words that Prove It tells us to use, but for me, and my husband specifically, we have the opportunity to not forget relationships, to pour into our kids, to pour into our spouse while we're doing this business. And here's the last thing, and I don't even know where this came from because this is legitimately not in my notes to talk to you about. Just popped into my head, but I want you to know something. If you're building this business and you feel like you're on your own, like, hey, if you're building this business and you're like, my spouse doesn't support me, my kids don't understand, you guys, a lot of life, anything in life requires communication. And sitting, like we sat down with our girls for years and going, hey, we're going to an event, we're going to Epic in December. Hey, this is mommy and daddy's school to help us be better versions of us so that we can be home with you. Hey, I hop on these Zooms at night. If you're all okay with this is my future goal for our family. I would love it if you were on board. Hey, spouse, this is what I want to help for our family. Are you on board? What are some things what do you have what are your expectations? And here's my expectation. So all I want to say is this: relationships should be the number one priority in your business. That comes with your family and your customers. So wherever that came from, it just came. All right. And listen, I don't know. Okay, so here's the concept of today. Here's what we want to talk about. I'm going to ping pong back and forth with my incredibly amazing, talented teacher friend, Mandy. But the number one thing I want to will you drop a 1 in the chat real quick? If you watched the live from last night that was on the Prove It Facebook page about getting past plateaus or fat loss. Like, did you invite to it? Did you watch it? Drop a 1 in the chat if you physically watched it at any point in time. All right, we want to give you just a really quick reminder. Maybe you don't know this, but a reminder of what these can do for your business. So you might have heard the phrase ATM. Drop a 2 in the chat if you've ever heard anybody talk to you about ATM in your business. It stands for add, tag, message. And there's lots of ways you can use this add, tag, message. In fact, Jessie Lee was the one that actually taught our community about it. If anybody else did, I'm sure other people have talked about it, but I remember hearing it from her. And she really said, listen, I use a method or a system called ATM. I add people to a group or a page. For this instance right now, it's the Prove It Facebook page. I tag them in a post and I send them a message. And we wanted to just either A, bring awareness to you, or B, help you, remind you that add, tag, message system can really be a great way to build your business. You guys, we've had some incredible lives the last couple weeks with doctors around fat loss and ketones and muscle and everything that you need to know around ketones and the opportunity. There was a live a couple weeks ago with Brian. There's one coming up tomorrow about the opportunity. So both business opportunity, business, why did you improve it as a promoter, right? And you have an incredible tool, the Facebook page, for you to add people to. So you add them, you tag them in the video that you want them to watch, and you send them a message. And you go, hey friend, I watched an incredible live last night from my friend Dustin or my friend Heidi, and I tagged you in it. I think you would really love it. It talks about fat loss, getting past a plateau, and I know you've been curious about ketones. I'd love for you to watch the video. Add somebody to the Facebook page. And it's a little different because we used to do this with groups. So actually they just have to go like it themselves. But if you go and tag them actually in the video, it'll send them a notification. Hey, Trent sent me a tag. He tagged me in a video. I should go watch that, and then send them a message. It's the power of the ask. You can either A, ask them before you want to and go, hey, do you care if I tag you? I actually don't ask. Some of you want to ask beforehand. I just think if I tag somebody in a video on the Perfect Facebook page, 1, it's a public page. 2, if they don't want to watch it, they'll ignore me. But I'm going to send them a message and go, hey, I actually tagged you in a video from last week from our CEO. You've asked me in the past about the promoter opportunity, and I like to voice things. I would say, hey, you asked me about what this company's all about. I tagged you in a video from our company. I want you to go watch it. Let me know what you think. Leave it at that. You can use your own verbiage. But I like to say, hey, I tagged you. Hey, I added you. Hey, I want you to know I sent you, I put you in this because you're interested in, you've asked me about. And so what's powerful is those are there forever. We're going to do some more lives on there because they're tools for you to use consistently over time. So add, tag, message. Before we dive into the power of the ask and a shift I want to remind you of about trials, I'm going to ping it over to Mandy Mitchell. Mandy, good morning. How are you doing? Is there anything that you want to share about add, tag, message or utilizing the Prove It Facebook page?
Hi, hello, good morning. I would love to share real quick a couple of things. For those of you who I don't yet know, my name is Mandy. I have been drinking and sharing ketones for almost 7 years. This week is the week where I had my first sip of ketones, and it was Orange Dream. So sometimes I think to myself, man, ketones work. Otherwise, I don't think I would have made it past that flavor. I was a weirdo that kind of liked chocolate swirl. And so if you have that on hand and you're not sure how to fall in love with it, to this day, it is so great in cold brew coffee with a little bit of heavy whipping cream. It's like salty. It's actually really good. But Orange Dream, that was a big old no. So this is 7 years crazy since I had my first sip of ketones, and next month will be 7 years since I decided to start telling people about it. If you are brand new, real quick word of advice, do not wait for 4 weeks before you tell people. Because while you're waiting for 4 weeks to get some kind of a result, the people you care about still feel like garbage. And they would rather feel better with you than after you. So I know that was not part of the topic, but I just feel like I had to say that. Real quick before I share some ideas and thoughts and action steps on add tag message and how I use it and how might work for you. I did want to kind of touch base really quickly on Stephanie's story that she shared about her girls and just what has happened for her family over the last 7 years. And I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to do that thing where I say drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat, even if you've had some incredible financial things happen to you and your family because of this business, but you're also going, yeah, okay, but it's not cutting it right now, or I haven't hit the level I want to yet, or I still wish I could make more, or I'm just not at that goal yet. Ones, lots of ones. Awesome. Good. That's how I feel as well. And it's just so funny how the world just kind of aligns all these things together for me lately. And I just think that's a God thing. But oh, that's my dog telling me he wants to play. He is poking his ball to squeak it. But I was on the phone yesterday with Brian. And if you don't know him, he's our CEO. We chatted for about 2.5 hours. If you look at my Instagram stories, you'll see that I hit like almost 14,000 steps yesterday, and I'm pretty sure 7,000 of them were me just pacing my house on the phone with Brian Underwood for 2.5 hours. And the most impactful thing out of our conversation, because I said to him, like, I'm in a rebuilding phase. I'm in a season where I'm rebuilding. I'm in a season where I'm looking for new people again. I'm in a season where I'm looking for people who are as excited as I am. I'm in a season where I want us to get back to how I felt 7 years ago when I was like, holy shit, what do I have my hands on? And this is what came out of my mouth. I am trying to build my legacy. And here's something that he said that I would like to just pass on to all of you. And it's so relative to what Stephanie shared. Your legacy is more than your finances. Like, for a really long time, I've just thought to myself, I want to leave a financial legacy. I'm doing this so I can leave a financial legacy. I'm doing this so my kids don't have to say no to things. I'm doing this so I can help out when they need help. I'm doing this so I can give my grandchildren that I don't have yet, and I hope they're not coming anytime soon. Um, that I can give my future grandchildren really incredible memories. Like, and it was all about money. But my legacy, your legacy is more than the paycheck that we get for doing this. The legacy is the relationships that we build. The legacy is the growth that we are experiencing. The legacy is, for those of you who were in Seattle, that my kid stood up and spoke in front of 250, 300 people. The legacy is that my children are changed human beings. The legacy is that they'll have memories that don't really have anything to do with what we spent money on. Although I'm sure they'll remember the millions of Disneyland trips. But I just wanted to share that really quickly, because I think that's important too when we're thinking about how we share this product with people. Like, the legacy is also that we might just change someone's life. Like, the legacy is that I shared this with someone who shared it with someone who shared it with someone who shared it with Keto Karen. And this changed her life. So I just kind of want us to think about that too, because a lot of times I'm so money motivated and I'm so focused on our income and I'm so focused on completing this vision board that I have set up here right in front of me every time I sit down at this desk that I can forget that the legacy I want to leave is more than that. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. Really quickly, Stephanie, I don't drop. I know you asked who watched the video last night and who invited to it last night. I want to know who didn't. It's okay if you didn't. Drop a 2 in the chat if you didn't watch it, if you didn't invite to it, if you didn't make, like, it's okay, because I'm going to show you how to do it right now. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet because I was on the phone for 2.5 hours. That's my excuse. That's how I'm justifying it. So I am going to watch it today. So look, even Nick Martinez said, I invited to it, but I didn't watch it yet. So if you have not yet invited to it, I'd want everyone, if you can, if you're not on your phone for this call, to open up your phone right now and just make a post that says, anyone on my friends list ever get stuck in a fat loss plateau? I just learned some cool stuff, or I'm about to learn some cool stuff. Do you want me to share it with you? Something like that. And if you can't do it right now, do it when we get off this call. I didn't take a picture of myself. I didn't raise my hand. If you're in your pajamas, if you haven't showered in 6 days, it's totally fine. This is what mine looked like. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. It just looked like that. And I just said, fat loss plateaus, question mark. Who's ever been stuck in one? I'm tuning into a doctor/expert tonight to learn how to break through. Want me to share? This is a great opportunity to, yes, a stall. If you don't use the word plateau, you can use the word stall. Anyone ever been stalled in their weight loss? Anyone ever been stalled in their fat loss? I'm looking for tips. I'm tuning in to a doctor expert to learn how to break through. Who wants me to share? Something like that. This is something that can live on your page, something you could post literally again in a week if you loved the call when you go back and watch it. Something you could, here's another thing I'm going to do, Stephanie. I'm going to take the link to that live. By the way, I do this for every call where we talk about a topic that I've had questions about before. Raise your hand like this if anybody has ever said to you, man, I just haven't lost any more weight. Man, it's been 4 weeks and my scale hasn't budged. Man, I started drinking ketones and I didn't lose anything yet. Man, I mean, it's happened to me more times than I can count over the last 7 years. So I assume over the next 7, it will happen again. This can live. Save the link to this call in your notes on your phone. And anytime someone talks to you about their fat loss plateau, their weight loss stall, you can say, hold on 1 second. Stephanie, I might not have to add you in so many messages anymore. look, Stephanie's gonna get a little bit more free time, a little more time freedom with her kids to go see more worship concerts because I won't have to add her necessarily. I can go, oh, Erin, great question. I actually just tagged you in a video on Facebook that I think will be super helpful for you. So this can be if you get into the habit of this, and I need to get better at it, and I feel like I'm good at it, but I could be better. If we get into the habit of tuning in to the calls when they happen and making little notes in your phone that's like, oh, this is the call where Dr. Jacob talked about this. This is the call where Dr. Andy talked about this. Oh, this call is where we talked about why does my brain work better on ketones? Like, when someone messages you and says, man, I just see you posting about mental clarity all the time. Like, will this really help? Actually, Liz, I just tagged you in a video I think you're really going to love. It's going to explain everything, exactly how it works, right? This is just another form of third-party validation, and it does the work for you. So anyway, I went back through, Stephanie, all the people that commented. I made that post in 2 different places. Yes, if you use boards, you can put it in your boards app. I refuse to pay for boards, so I only use it until I use up all my free ones, and then I don't use it for the rest of the month. But yeah, if you Candace, if it's a video in a group, yes, you want to add them to the group first. But a lot of these videos that we're talking about, especially lately, that we're providing for our community are happening on the Prove It Facebook page. So they don't even need to have liked it in order to see it. And I would go back, if you haven't, and look at all the calls we've done. Like, we've done ketone clarity calls on there. If you resonated with a call about the business opportunity, it's super, super simple. And that's exactly what I do. Everybody who commented, I tagged them in the post. And then I actually do 2 things. I send them a message, add, tag, message. Hey, Stephanie, just want to let you know I tagged you in a post of the video that I was talking about last night. So you can watch it too. Let me know what you think. But I also comment back on that post that I made. I also say the same thing. Hey, Stephanie, I tagged you in the video that I got to watch last night. Let me know what you think. And I do that for 2 reasons. One, because it bumps that post so other people will see it, so it's not done doing its work. And also because people who are reading the comments might go, oh, she'll share the video. I don't have to talk to Mandy about it. I can just watch the video. So I want them to know that that's an option. So those are the 2 things, like, specifically that I did with last night.
I think that was amazing. And if you guys did not write that down or catch that, Mandy said so I do the same thing. I label it, I take the link, I copy it, I put it in my note section because I get asked more often than not. Anytime I'm getting asked a specific question, often, whatever I respond back to that person, and if it's like a general response, I take that and I put it in my note section. Use your notes or your boards app to keep track of things so you're not having to retype the same thing up over and over again. And I keep the link so I don't have to go back to the Prove It Facebook page because you're going to have to scroll back a couple scrolls to go find the video or the live with Dr. Ryan, with Dr. Jacob, with even Brian Underwood. And so if you can label them well, put them in your notes, and remember, if you watch them or understand what they were. So if you were to label like fat loss with Destin and Heidi, and I think it was Chrissy, then you know what it was about. You know, when somebody asks you about fat loss, you can go click on that and tag them in it. Or if you have somebody with the opportunity, you don't have to waste a couple of minutes scrolling. Your notes or your boards app will help 100%. Just get a little organized. So as I was going to actually
hold on 1 second. One
Yeah.
more thing. And this also works in the Prove It promoter page, y'all.
Yes.
We do the work already over there. So when you have teammates who ask you a question, when you have a teammate that says, okay, I'm ready to do trials, tell me all the things, you don't have to tell them all the things.
Right.
You can say, oh my gosh, actually, let me tag you in a couple of awesome videos that we have in the Prove It promoter page where we trained on this exact topic. And there's 2 reasons why I love that. Doesn't mean I'm not going to communicate with my new teammate. I have a brand new promoter I just enrolled yesterday, and I'm tagging her in things right now. I'm certainly not going to just be like, watch this video and I'll catch you on the flip side. But it's another voice that isn't me. It shows we have lots of people in our community who are supporting and helping. And it tells me how badly are you, how coachable are you? If I say, I think you should watch this video and you never watch it, you're probably not going to do a lot of the things I suggest that you do. That's just my guess. So I just wanted to throw that out there. This is also it's also add your promoters to the promoter page, tag them in a video, message them and say, I just tagged you in a really great video about trial packs. Let me know after you watch it so we can make a plan for you.
Well, and as you're saying that, you guys then think about Drink Ketones Daily. You have a new customer that actually joins you. You add them to the Drink Ketones Daily group. You tag them in one or two videos that we've had the doctors over there, or tag them in a recipe and go, hey, we've got recipes over here as well. Send them a message and go, this is our community. This is a place where you can be coached as well as with me and this community. So any of these groups, the ad tag message, just getting into the routine of doing that, and then saving your own things, you can just go tag people in the ones that you like. So as I was chatting with Mandy about this, and then I was talking to Nick and Destin, because we were just going to do a training on trials. I love that Mandy said, hey, we have all of that in the Prove It Promoter group, but once you add, tag, message somebody, and then you're in communication, you're in relationship with these people, a reminder that we also wanted to touch base on, and we're going to flip this real quick, and I'm not going to give you the 411 or all the, the trial 101s, but I'm going to say, this is can be a simple transition from, did you watch the live? What are your goals? Hey, I say this often. Hey, I'm actually going over to the post office today. I've got some trial packs I'm mailing out. I've got a couple left. Is it something that you're interested in? Because oftentimes people say, well, they ask me if it's for free, right? Hey, here's a really quick note. I would say I'm 99% good with this. In my stories every day, in any live that I do, I find a way I always post a story about trial packs, no matter what my day looks like. And I put I'll say, message me, let me know if you want a trial pack, swipe over, put a link, whatever you want to do. I mention trials in my stories every single day, no matter what. Number two, when I'm doing a live, I don't care what I'm talking about, whether I talk about books every morning that I do a live, I'll talk about food in the afternoons, I'll have my ketones with me. And even if it's a quick, and if you've not grabbed a trial pack of ketones, let me know, post trial in the comments. I'm just letting you know, the way that I built my business, Mandy did the same way, is offering trials, showing people you've got trials. I built my business, and you guys, every single day, I mail out a trial, not every day, but most of the time. And so make sure you're talking about it and you're offering it, because when you take these people from whatever you tag them into, hey, I have a trial pack, or maybe you suggest something first. I've got a good, better, best kit, however you want to suggest it. I would always make sure people know they have an option for a trial. Hey, I'm popping over to the post office. I've got a couple left. Are you open to it? Do you want to learn more? Do you want me to put your name on one of these? Oh yeah, is it free? Nope. I straight up say, oh no, it's not free, but you get a really great deal on it. You get to try some flavors without committing to a box. And then I'm going to quickly go over just understanding, you guys, trials for me builds my business. You don't be afraid of the cost. Sometimes people are like, oh, they want it for free. I outright say, no, it's not for free. But I'll let you have a great deal and try 5 of them. I'll say, hey, and as we're conversating back and forth, these are the things I just wrote out. I think sometimes people get overwhelmed with how do I mail the trials? What do I put in my trials? What should they look like? If you go to the Prove It Promoter group, and you can even go in the search bar engine and type in trial packs, there's 5 different videos. Don't mess up good for perfect. Put them in a bubble envelope, write a thank you card. I always say, message me when you get your trial. Here's the biggest kicker with trials is, number 1, set the expectations. If I'm sending somebody a 5-day trial, remember, I always say, hey, this isn't about fat loss. This is about, I want to know which flavor you're trying, your energy, your focus, and your appetite control. That's really all I talk about for the 5 or 10 days. So if you want to take pictures and you want to do measurements, that's great for long term. I want to know how your energy is. How did your brain feel? How did you function? And listen, I don't snack all day long. It helps me not snack. What does it help you with you? And with trial packs, one of the biggest words, whether you're ad tagging message like Mandy and I just talked about, or sending out trial packs and talking about it, the number one thing for your business is following up. Following up on, did you watch the video? Hey, did you watch the video? Even with your promoters, did you watch the trial pack video? Because remember, Mandy said, if you give somebody a task and they don't do it, they're probably not super serious about it. And we've got time frames and people are on their own, like their busyness of their day. Your job, your responsibility is to follow up. And I'll mail out a trial pack. Hey, did you get it in the mail? Hey, did you like your first flavor? Hey, how was your, if I know they tried it, I message them that day, I write it down, I set a reminder in my phone. How was your energy today? How was your focus today? And then you navigate the conversations that way. So Mandy, is there anything that you want to say around trial packs, the power of the ask, anything that I said?
No, I think you did a great job. As always, I will agree that the number one way I still build my business is with trial packs. And for those of you who have been here for a little while, one of the ways I think, if I could just share what I think, why I think I sell so many trial packs all of the time, uh, I think there's two reasons. Number one, I don't care who buys trial packs from me. Like, I don't care if you've actually been a customer for 7 years, right? Like, I don't care if you want a trial pack because you see, I just sold a 20-pack flavor variety to someone yesterday because they were like, there's like 6 flavors in your post that I haven't tried yet. Cool. Let me send you these. Right. So I don't care who buys trials from me. I don't care if they've, it doesn't matter to me if someone chooses to buy trials or orders from my website. It doesn't matter to me. Do I think ultimately long term they'll have a better deal ordering as a VIP customer? For sure. Yes. And I tell them about that. But I don't ever get hung up on how someone gets their ketones. As long as they're getting them from me in some way, shape, or form, it doesn't matter. So for me, I view trials as just one of the many ways I can help people get started with and continue to drink ketones. I have a lady in my town who comes every month and gets 30 packets from me. She literally doesn't care that she could get 40 for the same price if she ordered online. Good for her, good for me. Good for my business either way, because I got to order those 30 packs. I got to make sure I have those 30 packs. So those 30 servings of ketones are in my business, whether she's ordering them or I'm ordering them. It doesn't matter to me, right? So I think one of the ways that I have been able to continue sharing ketones in trial pack form at such a high level is they are equally as valuable, maybe more, than people ordering from my website. So it is part of my business plan that every single month I place at least one large bulk order. You save 40% if you order 20 boxes or more. Told you all at the beginning I like money. So saving 40% means you make 40%. It's just brilliant, right? So it's part of my income. Like when I go, how much money would I like to make this month? How much would I like to contribute to my family this month? Part of that income, I expect it to come from trial packs. I plan on it to come from trial packs. It's part of my financial plan for my business. So I think that's part of it. But also, the other thing I think, Stephanie, is that I assume everybody in the world is already drinking them. I assume that everyone knows what they are. And that's how I talk about them. I know that that's not true, right? Liz Grant, I see you shaking your head like, no, nobody knows about these. You're right. Nobody knows about them. But I talk about them as if y'all already know about this. Y'all are already drinking this. I probably have the fun flavors you haven't tried yet. Oh, wait, you don't even know what these are? That's kind of the attitude I have when I talk about them. So I think that has really helped me, because when you are talking to somebody and go, oh, I'm sure you already know about this. I'm sure you've already tried this. I'm sure you've already experienced it. Then people are like, wait, no, actually, I haven't. Actually, I don't know. Actually, what is this? Right. So I think those are two things. If you aren't having that vibe or that energy around trial packs, I think those are two things that if you make that shift, especially if you've been here for a little while, right? Because if you're brand spanking new, no one knows what these are.
Right.
Right. Um, and I know no one knows what they are. When I go live, I don't know about you, Stephanie, but when I go live on my page, the majority of the people respond to me and go, I've never even heard of these. This is the first time. And I talk about them all the time. And they still go, I've never even heard of this. What
Right.
is this? But I act as if, oh, I'm sure you've already tried this. Would you like me to get some of the fun flavors out to you? Right. So
I
anyway,
love that. I'm going to say two things and then we're going to let you go. Mandy, that was super, super great. And you brought two things that popped into my mind. Number one, if you're not sharing it consistently, listen, I know somebody in the chat and I missed the name because it went up, just said, hey, I'm new. My friends aren't interested. Listen, if you go back to the beginning of me sharing, and I actually walked you through my business of ups and downs and years of ups and downs and people coming and going. You've got to think about people watch you for a certain period of time to decide if you're going to stick with it because there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people have tried a lot of things. People are skeptical. So you stay on your journey and you share your journey. You take them on the journey with you. Like Mandy said, don't wait for 4 weeks to share. And when they're ready, you don't get to decide when they're ready. You get to decide to use your sharing power because you're excited about you becoming the best version of you. So as you share that with people, when it's their time and they're ready and you're kind of sending them messages and to add, tag, message them and things, awesome. If you're not doing trial packs right now and listen, and you said you don't have a story, that's why you add, tag, and message them in the stories that we're sharing on the Prove It Facebook page, because you don't have to have your own story to share ketones. There are plenty of stories for the last 8 years. And I still, to this day, even drinking them for 8 years, share other people's stories because it's powerful, right? Like I'll share Mandy's story or Heidi's story. I talk about Heidi a lot because she's got an incredible story. Her story that was just shared on the Prove It Facebook page, I really feel is super impactful. I used her story for fat loss. I haven't lost 190 pounds. I lost like 10. I don't know if that's inspirational to anybody, but it's sure, it was my story. So remember, take people on the journey with you, share what you've got, add, tag, message, use the resources. The power of the ask leads you into trial packs because trial packs are powerful to build your business. Have your own stash, share them, talk about them. It's the only way people know you have them, because I'll say this one last thing and then I'm done. I had somebody walk up to me at a Prove It event. She said, I've been following you for 7 years. I don't know how in the world she missed that I share ketones because I think I talk about them a lot. And she joined somebody else because she didn't know I was a part of Prove It. And I was like this, what? It's fine. And I was baffled at the fact that she didn't know that I shared ketones. So the last thing I want to tell you is this. People are not on social media like you are. You are here because you want to add value. I'm believing you're adding value on social media and face-to-face. But if we're just talking about social media, people aren't on it like you are. They're on it maybe on the weekends, maybe 1 hour before bed, maybe on their lunch hour, maybe their day gets busy and they don't get to check things until a couple days later and they missed your Prove It post, but now you're like, didn't talk about it for 3 days. So somehow she missed watching me for years. I don't know what happened, but I'm like, oh, which is why I somehow bring up trials of ketones in all of my lives and my stories. And that's as outside of face-to-face. So, hey, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Mandy, anything else you want to say before we let everybody go? All right. Thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. You guys, we have tons of these trainings. Utilize the add, tag, message. Go share in your stories. You've got trial packs. Use your team. Don't do this by yourself. We're here to do this with you. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.